Hey everyone, you made it back. I'm glad you're here. Did you get your apples finished? If you haven't done the apples yet, you might want to go to my website and get the free downloadable PDF plus a color chart and then go watch the apples video. They're all linked in the description box below. Today we're going to be doing the basket and we're going to only be using 4 colors today. We're using a beige, a dark yellow, a brown, and a white, and the blender pencil. So, are you ready to color? Let's go. Okay, I tested this technique out and it looks pretty cool, but I haven't done the whole basket. So this is an experiment. We'll see how it goes. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our beige. Fill in this area here. Now leave a little opening for your highlight, like we did on the apple, little white spot. Then we're gonna take our dark yellow and we're gonna kind of add some more texture to that. Some darker yellow. Now with this, you can go back and forth because wood has texture. So it's okay if we go back and forth and have some lines going in there. Okay, next is the dark brown. And what you do is just kind of follow these lines. Kind of make it a little darker around the edges. So that's going to be your shading. Doesn't have to be precise. And with our white, kind of preserve that area. And back in with the beige, and we're going to kind of blend all of this together. And if you think you need some more color, which I think we do, add some more of that dark yellow. And some more of the dark brown. Give it a little depth. Okay, and then when you think you have enough in there, you can go ahead and take your blender pencil and go back and forth and just kind of pull this all together. Go a little bit over your highlight. If you go back and forth, you get that grain texture. Then you can decide if you want to add some more beige or dark brown, and just you can keep adding layers until it looks good to you. Adding a little more beige. Now I'm going to add a little more brown. A little more depth. And then blend it all together again with your blender pencil. That looks pretty good. And then the last step is to take your white and go in and accentuate that highlight. And there you go. First basket slat done. Now what you're going to want to do is do all the horizontal slats first, and then we'll come back and do the vertical slats. I'm going to go in with a little more brown and make some spots a little darker. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I don't want to do any more until we get those vertical slats done. And the easiest way to do those vertical slats, because we're going to have to do them the same way as we did the horizontal slats. The easiest way is to rotate your page. And now you just do these vertical slats like you did the horizontal slats. Okay, let's get going on these vertical straps here. They're going to be just like the horizontal ones, but what you're going to want to do is kind of line up your highlights with each other. So we'll start with our beige. We want our highlight right about there. And this one, they're always be in the center, but just one is off center, you want to make sure the vertical one is matching the horizontal. This one's a little higher up and it looks like I went into, this is a mono eraser. I used the little one earlier on the apples. This is the bigger one. Just getting rid of some of that beige. Okay, next we're going in with our dark yellow. I don't know, it looks like I forgot to do the white. As long as you don't go into the white, it doesn't matter. You know, the white area doesn't matter when you add your white, but let's go ahead and stop here. Put in that white. I don't think there's going to be any in that one. Some white in here, some white in here. Probably none there, none there. Let's add a little white here. Maybe. Let's get back to the dark yellow. Start adding that in. Okay, time for the dark brown. We're gonna add some shading for the leaf. So it's gonna be pretty dark back in here. Blend that out. Let's turn it right side around and we'll see how it looks. That actually looks pretty cool. Now if you want, you can go back in now that you're looking at it straight on and say, okay, I want that a little darker. And you can go in and get these slats a little bit darker. Kind of makes it a little bit more 3D. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, next we're going to be starting on the braid and the handle. And it's going to be pretty much similar to what we did in the basket. So let's move on to that. Now to do the braid, it's going to be a lot easier to turn your page to have it facing the way the braid goes. It's going to be kind of hard to do kind of like this. You're squinching up your shoulder and trying to do it this way. Easiest way to do it is to turn your page so the braid is going away from you. So I'll do that now. Okay, there we go. This is what I was talking about. So you can be working this way, your texture is going to go the right way and look correctly. Let's start with that. We're going to start with the beige. We're going to put the highlights more towards this rounded edge. So just put a little bit of the color there. Okay, let's go in with our white. Now let's go in with our dark yellow. Okay, I notice I put a little bit of the too much of the dark yellow right in here and here. And now our dark brown. Just like we did on the basket slats here on this braid, we're just gonna go along, just put a little bit here. Unless you don't have to be real precise. It's all gonna get blended together anyway, just follow these lines. This is kind of hidden there, so quite a bit of the brown in there. And now we're going to go back in with our beige, blend this all together. Just keep adding your color. Now some more of the dark yellow. Get a few layers of the colors in before we start using our blender pencil and blending it all together. Now some more of the shadows. We'll darken that up. Just down in here for now. Okay, let's do some blending with the blender pencil and see how it turns out. Let's start just blending. We can always add more color later. I think there's a little bit too much of the white here, so I'm going to add probably some more of the beige. And then a little bit of the yellow, and then we're going to go back in with our one last shadow base. Okay, more of the dark yellow. The dark brown again. And just make these a little darker in here. The braid's a little bit more with this dark brown. Last time for the blender. And just start blending again. And leaving just a little bit of the whites for the highlight. And now let's just go in with our white. That's actually looking pretty good. Last thing we're going to do is we're just going to take our dark brown and go along these lines and kind of emphasize them for the braid. And along the bottom. And let's go ahead and flip this around and see how it is. Yeah, that looks pretty good with the rest of the basket. And now we're going to finish up the handle. So here we go, starting with the beige. Let's add the dark yellow now. See, it's just the same process for each section over and over. It just depends on the direction you're going and where you're putting your highlights. Before we get into the brown, let's add our white. Okay. Time to go in with the dark brown. Again, follow these lines. Too bad. So let's start blending this all together. Now let's put in our white again. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Now, like we did with the braid, we're gonna go in, darken all these areas here. Just make them a little more pronounced. That shadow area is a little darker, especially around the leaf here. Kind of go in here, fill all this in a little darker. The last thing I want to do is just kind of add some more of the shadow here for the leaf and blend that in. Okay, and then I'll take the blender pencil. And there you have it. The basket is done. I hope you like how it turned out. I think it looks pretty cool. Almost realistic. Not really, but it still looks good. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. And we will see you next week when we start on the honey jar, and we're gonna try to figure out how to do white, and then we'll wrap up with the pomegranate, which is gonna be fairly easy. It's similar to the apples, but these little seeds, they're gonna give us fits, so we'll see how that goes. Well, see you next week. If you'd like to participate in the full-length color along, visit my Patreon page and join in there. The link to my Patreon page is listed in the description box below, along with any products I used in this video. Thanks again, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to make sure you have ready access to all my upcoming videos. I hope to see you next week, and until then, have fun.